Shekhar sir, welcome to Screen Spotlight.
Thank you.
So it's so good to see you um, everywhere. You have a an academy that's opened up where we're here at your academy. We're
Yes,
staying there,
yes.
and then you have a show coming up, a
Yes,
talk show.
Shekhar Tonite. Yes.
Shekhar Tonite. So how are you feeling? Like, are you, because there are times you choose to be away from the spotlight. Now you're back in the spotlight. So how does that feel?
I don't think it's important with the spotlight. I think what it is important is that you're in the constant process of doing something, mentally. And I was preparing for all these shows. In between, when I had about, I did about 2 films this year. I finished 2 series. I was preparing for Shekhar Tonite and I was preparing for the Academy. So a lot of things, and then I'm doing my play based on Sahil Ludhianvi and Amrita Preetham's love story, which is like I'm touring around. So I've done about 125 shows. We are going to go abroad now. I'm preparing for the role of Ghalib. So there's a lot on the plate. So it just feels good to be engaged. It feels good to be busy, doing something or the other. As far as being in the spotlight is concerned, yes, whenever you come with a show, whenever you have done something which is in the public domain, obviously all eyes and attention is like focused on you. And then, the responsibility rises with every show that you do. So it's a very exciting moment in my life right now.
Yeah. And you're no stranger to talk shows. You've done it for so many years now. You're coming back after 14 years. And you insist that the tone is going to be similar. It's going to be irreverent.
Yes,
it's going to be.
Of course.
There's going to be like tough
It's going to be
questions,
sharp, edgy. Yes.
sharp questions asked. But do you feel that we have the the discourse is so polarized these days? So do we have वो nuance जो होता है discourse में वो क्या अभी भी रह गया है?
I think that I'll have to probably play it by the ears and I'll check it out. But as right now I've spoken to about 10, 12 guests. It's just been fine. They take a bit of irreverence also and a bit of leg pulling is okay with them. I think it's in the manner that you speak to them is very important. If the intention is to humiliate someone or to run them down, that's what people don't like. But a bit of nodding and bit of nudging is permissible, and I think that's what they like. I think instead of just a straight interview, so if you take them into areas where they've never been before, they also quite like it. But we'll have to see. I mean, in case of like, when I'm doing my monologue and I'm talking about and I'm commenting about the socio-political system of our country, let's see how people react to it. I mean, but what I'm saying is basically satirizing the truth, what I read in the newspaper and what is there.
You in your first episode you had Mr. Nitin Gadkari as the guest. I know that you joined BJP, and then you left.
I had joined for about 24 hours. Yes.
But what was the reason behind?
I don't know. Sometimes you just get pushed into a corner. There could be emotional reasons. There could be reasons beyond your control. And then you don't want to do it, or you unwillingly do it. And it has happened to me twice. Once when I had fought on a Congress ticket. That also I felt that I was pushed into it. I was just a very unwilling candidate for that. And even now, I fail to understand why I did that. But it was just a membership. So, I got off it. It's not an active politics or anything of that sort.
And you said that being politically neutral, like not belonging to any party, is very important to.
It is, and for a show like this, you have to be completely apolitical. You cannot take sides. You cannot have a left or a right leaning or anything. You have to be sitting on the fence.
Yeah, I remember in his last speech in the House, Javed Akhtar had said that these politicians who always debate in the parliament, when you go there and when you see behind the scenes, they're all pally with each other.
Yes, they are.
Have you also observed that in your interaction with politicians?
They are. I think, this is, in the political arena, they have to take a stand. But they have a human side to them, I guess, I hope. Politicians have a human side. And that's where they're like buddies. I mean, they're not bum-chum buddies, but they're friendly. There is a sense of camaraderie. And that's what they enjoy. But I guess that, it's like 2 people from different countries. They meet and they chat, but when the countries fight, they have to go out on the war front and then cross swords with each other. It's like that.
Do you remember approaching Mr. Nitin Gadkari for the episode
Yeah.
What was his reaction? What
No,
was
he
that
was more than
conversation?
willing to come. I mean, very excited. I mean, because, you know, the show has a certain legacy. And we've had people from all walks of life, especially high-ranking politicians coming right from Sushma Swaraj to Yashwant Sinha to even the ex-PM, VP Singh coming, Vilas Rao Deshmukh, Chhagan, you know, Bhujbal Sahab, and a lot of other politicians, Pramod Mahajan, a lot of them were there. And they all willingly came, you know. They knew what they were getting into. I mean, like, you know, Sushma Swaraj, when she came, I distinctly remember she said that everybody has warned me not to come on this show, except my daughter. And she said that if you have to go to any show, this is your show. This is the show that you have to go to. So, you know, once they were there, they understood that, you know, a lot of things that were, that others said or felt was just a misconception.
Yeah, I think you even got a shout out from Mr. Vajpayee back
Oh
in
yes,
the day.
oh yes, oh yes. No, he personally stepped out of the car and hugged me, you know, when a function that had gone. He saw me, he stopped the cavalcade, he actually stepped out, hugged me, and he said, this show must go on. And when you take off on me, I laugh the loudest. So don't stop the show. I record it and see it every day. I mean, I think that's the greatest compliment an actor can get. I mean, where else have you heard that a prime minister stopped for an actor?
Yeah, we don't see great sports like these anymore.
Yes.
Even in US, we see like a late night show, Jimmy Fallon,
Ji.
and he's being attacked by Donald Trump.
Yes,
Unka
yeah.
chale ja raha hai.
I know.
And
Which is surprising because America is known for free democracy and, you know, free speech and stuff like that. I mean, if it happened in India, I could still understand it. But America or UK and, you know, these are the places where I could openly go out in the in Hyde Park and speak against the Queen and the monarchy, and that's what they've been doing for years, and that's the way we should be as well. You know, we should have a completely hands-off policy. We should have the latitude to talk about anybody. As I said, it's also important the manner that you speak. If the intention is to just run down, just to attack or just to abuse, then it's not a good thing. Though in America they do that. But I would want to just point out a few things. I mean, I think in democracy, everybody has the right to speak. And if we have elected a government, then we have the right to criticize it also and say where they're going wrong.
yeah. You also had Bobby Deol on the show.
Yes,
On,
yes.
In the second episode. Both of you go a long way back.
Yes, we worked in a movie called Chor Machai Show.
Show. And I remember your role, I think you played some 7 different
7 to
kind
8
of
roles, 8 roles,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, do you have any memories with
Oh,
Bobby
great
Deol?
ones, great ones. I mean, we had a great time, and every time I changed the role, he was laughing, rolling on the floor, and said, how do you change? You have this chameleon-like quality. You change, you come, I don't recognize you. And but we had a great time, and I said this in the interview also that, you know, when he was interviewed, he was the hero of the film, with Shilpa and I said.
Yeah.
So he said, don't ask me any questions. The hero of the film is Shekhar Suman, not me. That was his magnanimity. And so we go back a long way, and then my son worked with him in ashram, Adyan. So he's family now, and off and on we pick up the phone, talk to each other. So when I called him, he was so happy to come. He's a very reserved guy. He's an introvert. It took me time to kind of open him up, but once he was there, we were laughing and joking, and we had very intense, also very interesting conversation.
Yeah, and we've seen his resurgence over these years.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Which started with Ashram.
Ashram only, yes.
And now with, Bads of Bollywood, Animal, and now Bandar coming up.
Bandar coming up.
And he, whenever I've talked to him, he's gotten a very emotional thinking about, because he was going through a dull phase before that.
Yes.
Have you also discussed this with him?
Yes, I did, because, you know, this is his now famous line where he said, my kids used to always ask me, why are you always home? Why aren't you going out working? And I said, now they must be saying, why are you always out? Why aren't you coming home? So that's the difference that has come in his life. And it happens to all the actors. Not just actor, I think anybody, in anyone's life, that, you know, all these peaks and valleys and, you know, ups and downs and vicissitudes of life is part of life. You know, sometimes you're way up there, sometimes you're sunk into oblivion. It happens.
Yeah. Since we're at the academy, I want to talk a little bit about this chameleon-like quality of yours to play multiple characters. We've seen it in shows, movies, on movers and shakers.
An actor has to be like a chameleon. Yeah. He has to have the ability to just understand a character, play a character, and get under the skin of the character. That's very important. Also, the different roles that we play, like even if it's regarding my academy, it's regarding teaching, it's connected to my central craft of acting. So, you know, whatever I have learned over the years, and I think there's always a payback time, and you must give it back to people. So that's how the idea had come, and I think it's a very noble profession, and I think passing on your craft to others, what you have learned to do and what not to do, is something that I always wanted to do.
Nowadays we see Sunil Grover doing it on the Kapil Sharma show. This doing multiple parts as mimicry, and he's getting a lot of praise. But as you know, a veteran, how do you review his performance?
No, it's fine. I did a show long ago in 2008 called Teri Baat,
Yeah.
where I played 52 characters. And I played about 4 to 5 characters a day. And I remember I was the producer, and there used to be a darban, that watchman standing outside the gate of the studio. And every time I changed and walked in, he would stop me. "Kahan ja rahe hain? Kaun hai aap?" You know, so I said, "It's me." "Arey sir, aap kya bhesh bana ke aate hain?" You know, I'm not able to recognize. But it's always fun. Yeah, I think he's doing a great job. And I said, for an actor, it's just fun to kind of transform yourself into somebody else.
Speaking of that show, you've shared the stage with Archana Puran Singh and Navjot Singh Sidhu at different points of time. Do you also miss doing that? And
No, not at all. I think it was just a phase. As an actor, I think I'm more inclined towards serious work than comedy, funny. That was just a small part of my journey. And I did that, I enjoyed it, I got out of it. Yeah, but it's not something that I would, given the choice, like to do.
Okay. And what is your take on the school of comedy, your school of comedy? Is it more like the Kapil Sharma comedy, or is it like more irreverent like Samay Rehna?
See, I came much before
Yeah, I know.
both of them. So I haven't followed any school. I haven't confined myself to comedy, and I don't relate to comedy as much as I do to satire. Now that's a different form. What you see in Movers and Shakers is not a comedy show. It is political satire or social satire. Now that's a completely different craft.
Yeah.
Now what these two guys do, I mean, Samay I haven't watched enough, but he's very good. His latest video that I have watched, his content is extremely good. Except that my advice to him: why do you resort to abuses? It's not important, because your content is so good, it doesn't require those expletives at all. But I guess this whole new generation is too cool, you know, and they think that it's okay to abuse. And so to each his own. I'm not saying, you know, it's just my suggestion that, you know, even without that, he will be equally effective. What Kapil does, he does sketch comedy. That's as far removed from my craft as chalk is from cheese. You know, zameen aur asman ki duri hai usme. So he does his thing, which he's good at. I do what I'm good at and comfortable with. So as I said, that, you know, you have to pursue your vocation.
Yes.
You know, so this is something that satire is more academic. I feel that it has a lot of intellect involved in that, and that's a different craft, you know. So that's straight from the hip and off the cuff, and so yeah, all of us survive.
Yeah, but when you were doing satire, you know, at the peak with Movers and Shakers, Simply Shekhar, did you face any kind of opposition from anyone?
Not that I knew of.
No.
No.
But everyone was like.
Everybody was cool. Everybody was okay with it. As a matter of fact, if I was not irreverent to any guest, he would feel insulted. He said, "What is wrong with me? You haven't pulled my leg. You haven't been. You're irreverent to me."
Can you recall any?
I remember one guy who was a pop star, and he said that, and I forget his name. So he said, when I got the invite to be on M&S, and it used to be the biggest thing to be on M&S, and he said, I went and told my mom. He says, you know, can you believe that I have been invited on Movers and Shakers? I'm so excited. Bas मैं गया और आधे घंटे में जलील होके आया. So, and then he was disappointed कि सर आपने मेरी टांग खिंचाई नहीं की, आपने कुछ बोला ही नहीं है सर, रूट कि मुझे बुरा लगे, और बुरा लगता तो मुझे अच्छा लगता. So, you know.
But I think that is the difference between satire and roasting.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That roasting, you do feel attacked.
Yes.
Somewhere or the other.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were once hailed as the Amitabh Bachchan of television. How do you look at that moniker now?
I think it's just an epithet. It's just a way of saying that you are, you know, excelling in your craft. So yeah, it's a good compliment. It's a wonderful compliment to be known as Amitabh Bachchan, because, you know, he is the epitome of everything which is the best in our industry. So yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. Do you think when you were doing Movers and Shakers and KBC came in and the daily soaps came in, that language of television changed a little bit, that maybe would have discouraged you to step away?
No, not at all. I just wanted to do it for a specific period of time. As an actor, I wanted to explore myself my acting abilities and explore other roles. If I had just sat there in the chair doing the same, as a matter of fact, when somebody asked me, why did you leave Movers and Shakers, and I said, because I was good at it. And I was getting better at it. And that was dangerous for me, because that would lead to complacency, and that would lead to the fact that I would just be very comfortable doing that, and I will keep enjoying doing that and do nothing else. So it was very important for me to, move away from it and pick up newer challenges.
Yeah, I feel you've constantly experimented
Yes.
right from the start of your career.
Yes.
Even in television when you did Dekh Bhai Dekh, which is so iconic.
Yes, I did Dekh Bhai Dekh, and which was polar opposite was Reporter,
Yeah.
which I did. I did, Andaz, I did Amar Prem, I did a lot of stuff. I did a show on Star Plus called Main, which was about a self-obsessed megalomaniac actor. And that was one of my favorite shows that I have done. Very intense, very nice. Till this guy decides that, he discovers that he's dying of a brain tumor, and then he realizes he's as mortal as anybody else, and he comes crashing down. That was the story and how this beautiful relationship with his makeup man, who he stands by his side and takes care of him. So very, very emotional story. So that's so I have experimented with different kinds of roles, and right from Utsav, which was so different from, say, Tridev or Anubhav or Sansar or any other film that I have done, and then Dekh Bhai Dekh and Reporter, then Movers and Shakers, Laughter Challenge, and Pole Cole, and a whole lot of other things now, Ghalib and Sahir and Manto. So the journey has been like diverse.
Yeah, you've been constantly re-experimenting.
Ji.
But I feel that do you feel like you don't get enough credit for anything except comedy? Matlab
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. That's not true at all. Because
as much as you should get.
I got a lot of praise for Heeramandi,
Yes.
for that role. I got a lot of praise for Reporter. I got a lot of praise for Utsav. So that's not true. Whenever I have done some serious stuff, and I have some good stuff coming along, so hopefully it would be liked, and I would be praised for a different thing.
In your journey from Utsav to Heeramandi, I've always seen you also take up roles that a few male actors would, which is, your films always had women at the forefront as well. They had such strong characters.
Yes.
And you had no qualms playing those. Was that a conscious choice, or
No,
was
not
it
really,
difficult?
not really. But yeah, I mean, I just picked up everything that came my way. I mean, Utsav was such a delight. I mean, to be just chosen as a hero opposite Rekha in that film, which it was the story of Charudat and Vasant Sena. So in that sense, yes, I mean, Rekha was a bigger star and she had a bigger role, maybe whatever. But I was equally important and I was noticed, so that was nice. And I did a film called Nache Mayuri, which
It's
was
so
a big
that's
hit. But then, that revolved around the protagonist too, and her fight and survival, and how, she loses a leg and still comes out a winner. And I was this guy. I remember I played this he was the hero, but he was negative. And so when her legs amputated, he leaves her in the lurch and then comes back when she becomes very famous. Or even Pati Parmeshwar, which I did with Dimple. And when I came back and I'm asking for forgiveness, I remember my father, who was a very big doctor. He was watching the film in Jaipur in the theatre, and he's saying, please forgive me, take me back. So the audience said, Maro sale ko. So my father was very upset. He said, why would you do a role like that? I said, but that's the victory of the character. I wanted people to hate me. So he said, yeah, but you just done a film like Utsav for you to do. I said, that's the challenge, that you have to just get away from any image that you have conformed to and then do something diametrically opposite.
Yeah, I remember Pati Parmeshwar was stopped by CBFC because...
you remember that, yes, for being regressive.
Yeah.
He said, I mean, I wonder why they did that, because there's so many of these stories coming like that. There's so many shows like that, where men have really badly treated women and
they get passed.
And they get away with it, and they get passed. And why would Pati Parmeshwar stop it? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Calling it regressive.
Yeah. You work with both Dimple and Simple, right?
Yes.
Both the sisters.
Yes.
Do you remember how different they were as actors?
Oh, they were completely different. Completely. Dimple, of course, was far more glamorous. She was like a huge, big star. And you could always see her like a Bobby in her, or Sagar, and all of those images that entailed her. Simple was, she was not as successful as her sister. And she had done only about 2, 3, 4 films. But she was not too ambitious at all. Like Dimple would try very hard for her role and for her performance, and so they were different from each other.
Yeah, it was strange.
I remember working with Madhuri in my second film,
Yeah.
which was Manavati, and it was a very interesting story that when I got a call from the director and he said, so now you're working with Rekha, and but I have this story, but I have a new girl, would you work with her? So I said, well, if Rekha could work with me, why wouldn't I work with a new girl? And said, who is she? So he said, there's this girl who stays like close by to you in JB Nagar. I was in Andheri, Mahakali Road, and she says her name is Madhuri Dixit, would you? So I said, I'd like to go and meet her. Yeah, definitely. So we both went, and like on my motorcycle, we both went and met her. And I remembered like when she came out, and to meet, she was in a bedroom. She came out in the drawing room to meet her, and I was like, oh my God, like such a pretty looking girl. And then we got around talking, and I said, yeah, I'm doing the film, and she was like a huge discovery.
Yeah. And when you were doing Utsav, how did Rekha, make you comfortable? Because it was your first
She
time.
did right from, I mean, she never, you see, it's, when there is an actor who sort of tells you, look at me, I'm like a big star, then the problem begins there, and you walk around with a paraphernalia, and you have, so many people looking after you, and then you sit in the corner and just watch all this stardom. But she was away from all this, she was away from the paraphernalia and the people around her. She would always come sit next to me, make me comfortable, ask me questions, where I came from, what I was doing, all of that. So before I even started my first shot, I was very, very comfortable. And Girish also made me very comfortable and said, look, you're just playing a character, and don't be intimidated by the fact that she's Rekha. Treat her as Vasant Sena, as another character. But yeah, she was like very, very normal, and she said, if there's any problem, anything that where you're getting stuck and you don't know, you're having a tough time, just let me know, I'll help you out. But obviously that situation never arose, but it was, being such a big star and we had such intimate scenes, it was never like, don't do this or don't touch me here, that's enough, or I don't want to give another retake. It was never there. She very, very, very professional, very professional.
And that was also the case with Anubhav, where there were intimate scenes. But what was the, the correct way to do intimate scenes then, because tab to intimacy coordinator dur tak nahi tha. So how did you, do that aesthetically? How are you comfortable to do that in screen?
No, you have to, as I said, you just do it because that's the situation given to you. And that's the character. You feel like a character, just, you have to do it empirically and clinically. And the director helps you out, and the shots are like, it's not just always a long take. There are shortcuts and stuff like that. So it's not that difficult as it seems. Sometimes, when I was about to do those things, I was wondering how I would execute it. But it was quite easy. It was, it's not that bad or not as difficult as it seems.
You've talked about these two low phases in your life and career. That the one time where you refused a lot of movies or work dried up because you thought that you didn't do the right kind of, you didn't pick the right kind of movies. Do you remember why that was, and how were you feeling?
I think I made some wrong choices in my life, and those were purely out of economic necessity, there were reasons. My son had fallen ill, I had to work, and so I picked up wrong films, so that badly affected my career. And it was natural that a lot of filmmakers shied away from casting me in bigger projects. But that was meant to be. I guess that, one should not take it so seriously in life. What's coming, you make the most of what's coming your way. Keep working hard and believe in yourself, and the best will happen to you.
And I almost teared up reading this bit about when you said that you were going on Dekh Bhai Dekh set and making everyone laugh when your son
My son was terminally ill.
Yeah. So how difficult was it? How did you manage
very,
it?
very difficult. As I said, that, see, life has to go on. The show must go on. Also, I had to work to earn money to, pay his bills. And so for me, it was very important. And my wife was taking care of my son. She was there 24 hours by his side. And though I would be in the midst of a shot, but my mind used to be there, home. And every time a call came, because there were no mobiles then, I used to be worried sick about my son. So every time a call came, I would keep my fingers crossed, and I said, I hope it's not bad news. But yeah, those were very trying times, very, very, very difficult times. It was quite difficult to do a role which was um, you're meant to make people laugh, and then at the back of your head, you are thinking about your son who's so severely ill. So, yeah, not an ideal situation to be in.
Yeah. And you also said that, that's in that phase you somehow Adhyayan got neglected, and
Yes,
you've
he
been
did. Yes.
trying to, make up all this while.
Ji.
How is your relationship now?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Now that he's directed me, and this beautiful promo teaser, then it didn't show me till the end, and he said he will see it on the big screen, and I'm so
He's
happy.
introduced you like a superstar. in
Yeah,
that show.
like he's done such a fabulous job, and I, went to the era of Gurudutt and Raj Kapoor, and the way he shot, like, V.N. Murthy and Karmako would shoot their heroes, and he's a fantastic actor. He's a fantastic technician. So he's good with editing. He's fantastic with music, direction, all of that. I'm extremely proud of him after that. And I was just telling him this morning, why don't you make a feature film with me and give me the best role of my life?
Yeah. You've also directed him in a feature.
Yes,
film,
I have also directed him in Heartless. Yes.
Is he a better actor or a better director?
It all depends on the opportunities that you get.
Okay.
So that's why even see that even Dhurandhar, there are a lot of actors who suddenly came into the limelight and they were nearly forgotten, is because of the opportunities that they got. So I think Adhyayan is a fantastic actor. And now I feel that he's an equally good director. Like, the way he performed in Ashram and even in Heartless, even in Heeramandi, he stood his own and, he stood his ground. I think it's fabulous. He's a great singer, he's a great editor. He's good at everything. I mean, he's like way more talented than I am.
And Heartless was a tribute to your elder son,
Ji.
Ayush.
Ji.
Did you feel, somehow, satisfied after doing that film? That
Yes, it was a
really-
tribute. It was a tribute to him. Yes, it was an ode to him. Yeah, I felt good after that. Yeah, that's one story that I always wanted to make, and the sacrifice of the mother who, he gives
Deepti
gives her
Nawaz.
heart away to her son.
Do you plan to direct more?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I must. I should. I have great ideas in my head, but as I said, it's all getting the right opportunities, at the right time. It's like this show. I've been thinking that it, for years now, about 4 or 5 years, and everybody wherever I went said, "Why aren't you starting your own show?" But it happened when it was meant to happen.
Right. After Heeramandi, do you think that that's opened doors for both you and Adhyayan?
Yes, it has. That's why I said I just did about 4 films
you
since
did.
after post Heeramandi that I got very good roles. I've just finished with Prakash Jha's film, Janadesh. I'm doing a film for Netflix called Reporting Live, which is based on Sand Mafia, Pariniti, me, and Amol Palekar Saab. Then there is this series called Pyramid for TVF that I've just done. There is another one called AK-47, which is about to see the light of day. So yeah, good work coming my way. Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you about, Dekh Bhai Dekh, how involved Jaya Bachchan was at that time? Because
she
it
was.
her show.
Oh, she was.
And
Oh,
how did she kind of discover you?
Uh,
You were already famous, but
as a matter of fact, I was dead against TV then.
Yeah,
And every time the phone rang and I said, I hope it's not a television producer calling me, because
you
I
had
had
already
said,
done a TV show.
I had done, I'll tell you now, there was a reason why I had done that. Right when I was doing Utsav, which was written by Sharad Joshi, he was making a series called Wah Janab,
Yeah.
Fasana-e-Azad. So he came to me and he said, while in the midst of making the film, he said, this is what I'm making, and I see only you doing that, the role of Azad. So I said, I'm just beginning my career, and you think it would be a good thing to do television? And so he narrated me the script, and I said this was, so good, and I would find it very embarrassing and awkward to say no to Sharad Joshi, but I had huge regards for him. And everybody said, oh, no, the beginning of, a huge film career, you cannot do television.
Yeah.
And I said, to hell with it, it really doesn't matter. And I said, an actor is known for his work, whether you do it on a small screen, big screen, let me do this. And that's how I had done Vajanap that time. So, then I decided I'm not going to do any more television. And that's the time I got a lot of offers, I didn't do it. And one day phone rang and this guy on the other end says, I'm Anand Mahendru and I'm making a serial called Dekh Bhai Dekh. And I said, no. no series, I'm not interested in doing that. And he said that it's being produced by Jaya Bachchan. Now, I said, hold on. So if Jaya ji is backing it, so if, it's a Amitabh Bachchan production, or
And that
it
was
was
her
called
first
Saraswati.
show, I think.
Ji, Saraswati Audiovisual. So I said, okay, I'll have a look at it. And then he said, come over and I'll narrate you your role. And I remember going and I was meant to, be there for about just 15-20 minutes, listen to the role and come out. I stayed there the whole night listening to the role. It was so exciting. And Jayaji's office was just one floor above, ABCL that time. But she was completely hands-on. She would come on the set, supervise, see. And she took personal interest in that, which was very encouraging. And she would always come and, laugh her guts out because we were doing all kinds of ADCs on the set. And happy times.
I remember Arshad Varsi saying it in an interview, because he was also launched by Jayaji.
Yeah.
That she completely groomed him because he did not know anything, and she would always school him ki kaise kapde pehante ho ya something. And he said that she is so, like, once you have her loyalty, then she till date she would call him up at midnight to wish him happy birthday. What was your personal equation with her?
Very nice, very nice. I was just called for all the functions at home. I was for holy parties, and we were always there. But somewhere then after that we lost touch. But great regards for her. I remember doing the first national award, which again was done by her, organized by her company. And she approached me, would you like to do it? And this is the first time we were going live. Though it was a huge disaster that time, because there was some electrical failure and there were abuses going on the OB van which was being broadcast, and all heads rolled and stuff like that. But I spent a lot of time with her. And that time Bachchan Sahib shifted to Delhi. He was staying in Gulbahar Park. In that house we would sit and we would ideate and how to do it. So, and then I did another series for her. I'm forgetting the name, which was directed by Ramesh Talwar.
Okay.
So I've done about 3 projects for her.
Did they have a reaction to you becoming the Amitabh Bachchan of TV? Mr. Bachchan also moved to TV.
I know, finally he moved to TV as well. Yes. I remember that, when I was doing TV, a lot of people had this chip on their shoulder, and we don't do TV. And they always had this very patronizing attitude towards people who were doing TV. But later, all of them followed. So big victory, yes, there. So as they say, be the leader, follow or get out of the way. It's important to kind of lead. It's important to lead, and if you have the conviction, then nothing stops you in your life. And I'm happy that eventually television is not anymore known as the idiot box, and that a lot of well-meaning people have taken to it.
Yeah, I think you made TV cool, and I think now you're going to make YouTube cool again.
Now again, this is a huge, big step and a big experiment. A lot of YouTube, you're doing YouTube, and I said this is the biggest platform now, and it's very liberating. And I think this whole sense of independence, this azadi, is very, very important for any, your creative freedom, the way you want to present a show, make a show, say what you want to. It's very liberating.
Yeah. Finally, would you like to just tell us what more can we expect from tonight, Shekhar? Any more guests that you can
I think very exciting conversations. Very, very exciting conversations and very exciting guests, which I'm handpicking myself, because now, I'm the producer of the show. So, there's certain people that I always wanted to talk to. Watch out for them. I think, some of the very interesting conversations that I've had with Bobby, with Ali Fazal Sahab. Amrita Fadnavis was like a great surprise. Well spoken, great lady. I'm looking forward to interviewing the CM. And there's some people on my wish list. Definitely Bachchan Sahab is one I would like to talk to. Shah Rukh has been on my show. I'd like to call him again. But just